Everyone is building artificial intelligence tools for chat, content creation, and automation. The market is flooded with products promising to write your emails, generate your images, and summarize your meetings. But the companies actually getting funded right now, they are solving something much more boring. And that boring thing is exactly why investors are paying attention. While the public conversation around artificial intelligence stays focused on chatbots and creative tools, something very different is happening behind closed doors in venture capital offices. Investors are quietly moving money into artificial intelligence companies that are focused on paperwork systems. We are talking about compliance management, contract processing, procurement workflows, approval chains, and back-office operations. These are not the kinds of products that go viral on social media. They do not get featured in flashy product launch videos. Nobody is posting about them on their personal feeds, but they are attracting serious capital, and there is a very clear reason why. These systems sit at the core of how every business actually operates, and for decades they have been painfully slow, deeply manual, and extraordinarily expensive to maintain. To understand why investors are moving in this direction, you first need to understand the scale of the problem. Every company, regardless of its size or industry, runs on a set of internal systems that most people never think about. Contracts need to be drafted, reviewed, negotiated, and signed. Vendors need to be onboarded, verified, and monitored. Regulatory audits require documentation that must be gathered, organized, and presented under tight deadlines. Internal approvals for budgets, purchases, and projects move through chains of people who are often unavailable, unclear on requirements, or simply overwhelmed. These are not edge cases. These are daily realities for finance teams, legal departments, operations managers, and procurement officers at companies of every size. And the cost of these inefficiencies is not just measured in hours lost. It is measured in deals delayed, compliance violations, vendor relationships damaged, and opportunities missed entirely. The pain is not dramatic, it does not make headlines, but it is constant, and it is everywhere. Here is where the investment logic becomes very clear. The systems we are describing, contracts, procurement, compliance, approvals, are not just administrative inconveniences. They are the infrastructure through which billions of dollars move every single year. A contract that takes 3 weeks to finalize instead of 3 days is not just a time problem. It is a revenue delay. A procurement process that lacks visibility into vendor risk is not just inefficient. It is a liability that can result in regulatory fines, supply chain failures, or reputational damage worth far more than the cost of fixing the system. When you apply artificial intelligence to these workflows, you are not just saving someone a few hours of manual work. You are accelerating revenue cycles, reducing financial exposure, and enabling companies to make faster, better-informed decisions at scale. That is an entirely different value proposition than helping someone write a better marketing email. Investors understand this distinction very well. Efficiency in back-office systems does not just reduce cost. It unlocks revenue that was previously trapped behind slow, broken processes. That is the kind of return that justifies significant investment. The artificial intelligence startup landscape right now is heavily skewed toward visibility. Founders want to build products that people talk about, share, and recommend. That makes sense from a consumer marketing perspective, but enterprise investors are not evaluating companies based on how much buzz they generate. They are evaluating companies based on 2 things: efficiency and defensibility. Efficiency means the product delivers measurable, quantifiable value to the businesses using it, not engagement metrics, not user growth, actual reduction in cost, time, or risk. Defensibility means the product becomes harder to replace over time. And this is where back-office artificial intelligence has a structural advantage that most consumer-facing tools simply cannot match. When a company integrates an artificial intelligence system into its contract management process or its compliance workflow, that system learns the company's specific terminology, approval structures, regulatory requirements, and vendor relationships. Over time, it becomes deeply embedded in how the organization operates. Switching costs become enormous. That is defensibility. That is exactly what long-term investors are looking for, and it is precisely what most flashy artificial intelligence tools cannot offer. If you are a founder or a builder working in the artificial intelligence space today, this trend carries a very specific message. The crowded tools market, the one filled with writing assistants, image generators, and productivity chatbots, is becoming increasingly difficult to compete in. Differentiation is hard, customer acquisition is expensive, and the largest technology companies in the world are building similar features directly into their existing platforms. But the slow, regulated, often unglamorous world of enterprise workflows is a very different landscape. These are systems that companies cannot avoid. Regulatory compliance is not optional. Contracts are not optional. Procurement and vendor management are not optional. These workflows exist in every industry, in every geography, and at every scale. The companies building artificial intelligence solutions for these systems are not competing for attention. They are competing for integration. And once they achieve that integration, they are extraordinarily difficult to displace. The strategic shift for builders is straightforward, even if it requires a change in mindset. Stop optimizing for what looks exciting in a product demo. Start looking at where the friction actually lives inside real organizations. Find the workflows that are slow, regulated, and unavoidable. That is where the funding is moving, and that is where the most durable businesses are being built. What we are witnessing right now is a maturation of how investors think about artificial intelligence as a category. The first wave of excitement was about possibility. What could artificial intelligence theoretically do? The second wave, which is happening right now, is about application. Where does artificial intelligence create undeniable, measurable value in systems that already exist and cannot be shut down? Back-office workflows are the answer that keeps emerging from that question. They are not glamorous. They are not the subject of breathless technology journalism. But they represent an enormous, largely unsolved problem space where artificial intelligence can deliver returns that are both immediate and compounding. Every hour saved in a compliance review is an hour that a skilled professional can redirect toward higher value work. Every contract processed faster is a deal closed sooner. Every approval workflow streamlined is a decision made with better information in less time. These gains accumulate, they compound, and they create the kind of customer loyalty that consumer products almost never achieve, because the switching cost is not just inconvenience, it is organizational disruption. The biggest artificial intelligence opportunities right now do not look exciting. They look like paperwork. They look like folders full of contracts, compliance checklists, procurement forms, and approval queues. They look like the systems that every company runs on but nobody wants to talk about. That is exactly why the opportunity is real. The less glamorous the problem, the less crowded the space, and the more durable the solution. If you want to understand where funding is really going next, and which specific categories are attracting the most serious capital right now, the next video breaks that down in detail. Do not miss it. The content presented in this video is intended for informational and educational purposes only. Nothing discussed here constitutes financial advice, investment advice, or a recommendation to invest in any specific company, sector, or asset class. All investment decisions carry risk, and past funding trends do not guarantee future outcomes. Always conduct your own research and consult with a qualified financial professional before making any investment or business decisions.